So obviously we need to talk a little bit about what happened in Minnesota yesterday between the ICE agent and the liberal activist that apparently has been following these people around for a long time. But there's one specific aspect of it that I want to touch on, because there's a lot of people that seem to be confused about why this particular ICE agent reacted the way that he did. Did he use excessive force? Was it unnecessary for him to draw his weapon? Maybe. But we're going to look at this a little more closely, and you tell me if you feel like you understand why he reacted the way that he did. Before we get too much further, I'm Outspoken Samantha. Please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you so much for doing both of those things. So just as a little recap to what happened yesterday, it says dramatic footage. It says dramatic footage shows ICE agent in Minneapolis shoot, kill woman as feds say she tried to run officer down with car. It says dramatic video shows the moment an ICE agent opened fire and killed a 37-year-old woman Wednesday after she barreled her SUV into the officer's path in Minneapolis Wednesday morning, as the mayor furiously demanded the agency get the F out of our city. The incident has inflamed long-simmering tensions in the city between immigration authorities and local Democratic political leaders, anti-ICE activists, who have openly defied and harassed federal agents as they enforced President Trump's immigration crackdown. In footage, ICE officers approach a plum-colored Honda Pilot and order the driver out of the vehicle after she blocked the path of their truck. As one of the agents attempts to open the door, she quickly throws the car into reverse before trying to speed forward in the direction of another agent in her path. That agent dodges the SUV, swings around the side, and fires 3 shots before the car crashes into a white sedan parked nearby on the side of the street and comes to a stop. Now, there is video footage of this, as the article said. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this because it is all over social media. If you don't want to watch it, skip ahead about 30 seconds. But we will see how this played out, at least from the clip that went viral immediately.
What the fuck? Dude, what the fuck?
Now, obviously, everybody surrounding this situation, they're all activists as well. So they truly don't understand why this woman faced any consequences for her actions. We have seen in other reports that Renee Good is somebody that is part of a group that routinely, that are actually trained and told to follow ICE agents around. It sounds like she had been following them around all day, and she was the lead car that was being used to block the path of the federal agents. So this wasn't just, as the media is pretending, that this is somebody that was just driving around Minneapolis, trying to take her son home and get back to her family. That is a total and complete lie. And if you believe it, you are a moron. But let's look at a close-up, more slowed down version of what happened here, because obviously we couldn't see the front of the vehicle. We couldn't see what happened. We couldn't see why an ICE agent would feel threatened enough to fire their weapon at this vehicle. So another angle, which a lot of liberals are intentionally ignoring, or they're watching it with a preconceived idea of how they're going to look at this and their opinion that they're already going to have. ICE agents are always in the wrong, no matter what they're doing, or no matter what situation liberal activists put themselves in, or what chaos they create. Of course, it's always the ICE agent's fault. But let's look at the slowed down version of it, and you guys tell me what you see. There were no cows present at that time, but I'm going to play it on silent and just kind of talk through what I see happening here. So they walk up to the vehicle. They say, get out of the vehicle. If you don't comply, you're already in trouble. You're already breaking a law. You're using your vehicle to block them. You've already broken another law. So you've broken multiple laws already. So they have the right to step in and tell you to get out of the way, to detain you, to hold you accountable, basically. Like, you're just a nuisance. You're breaking the law. You're blocking federal operations. These are all things you are not allowed to do. So she should have just gotten out of her freaking vehicle. Like, just listen. You're the one that created the situation. You're the one that put yourself there. If you don't listen to law enforcement, there's going to be a problem. So she backs up. There's ice on the road, so obviously that's going to make it a lot harder. That the agent that was in front of the vehicle, he actually initially wasn't in front of the vehicle. I think he came from the other side. And when she backed up in reverse, that's when he ended up like right in front of her. So I don't think he was planning on her actually moving when he started to approach the vehicle. He wasn't planning on standing right there. He was coming across the front of it, and then somehow he ended up right in the path. So then she steps on the gas pedal, and he's right in front of the car, fires at her. And I think he's probably thinking, I've got to get this car to stop. The only way I'm going to get this car to stop is if I shoot the driver. Unfortunately, it's me or her in that moment. Now, here's the thing. He can't see what direction her tires are pointed. We can see it because we're back here. We're like, she was turning. Why would he shoot? He doesn't know that. He's standing right in front of the car. She's stepping on the gas pedal. What do you think he's thinking? She's going to drive straight towards me. And her wheels spin out in that moment. If that ice had not been there, not the ice agent, but the actual ice had not been there and caused her tires to spin a little bit, she would have lurched forward a lot faster, and he probably would have been hit directly. He was hit by the corner of the car. He ended up being nudged or rammed by the side of the vehicle. But had that ice not slowed her down a little bit, he absolutely would have been plowed into. So these are things that happen, obviously, in a split-second decision. And I am not justifying these situations because ultimately it's easy to look at this in hindsight and say, why did he use lethal force so quickly? And that's easy for us to say, sitting back and watching a video, not being in that situation, not being faced with somebody about to plow into us with a vehicle as we're standing there. You have no idea what her intentions were, and you have no idea how he perceived the situation in that moment. And he has a split second to make a decision. And let's remember, this wouldn't have happened if she wasn't there. They weren't going after anybody else's vehicle. They weren't just gunning people down in the streets like so many unhinged liberals are saying. Nobody else on that street was hurt. Even the people that were screaming at the ICE agents. And speaking of morons, these people truly cannot understand why this officer would feel threatened. Why he would think in his head that the person behind the wheel of that vehicle might actually want to take his life, might actually not have any problem taking his life. Well, maybe this has something to do with it. For months since President Trump took office and started these aggressive deportation operations, we've been seeing liberals get online and openly advocate to target ICE agents, to take their lives, to dox their families, to run over them with their vehicles, to acquire firearms, the people that are so against guns, to actually get them themselves for the purpose of using them against ICE agents. So these ICE agents know that they are dealing with people who actually want to take their lives, who have been encouraged to take their lives. And if Renee Good had succeeded in what she wanted to do, these people would not be screaming and crying about murder. They would be cheering for it. So this is one guy who came on here to speak specifically about this ICE agent. And this is what he had to say.
Wouldn't it be a shame if this guy who took the life of Renee Good in Minneapolis, if he didn't make it through the week? Would it be a shame? Can we find out? By the way, as soon as somebody shares his address, it's going all over the place. I mean, Pete Hegseth is all talking about FAFO. Yeah. FAFO.
Can you imagine being so incredibly soulless and heartless? Like, these are the people that wanted us to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, who has been overseeing some of the greatest fraud in our country's history. They were going to bring us joy. They were going to bring us humanity. They were going to show us what it means to love each other and accept each other. Yeah. See, you can tell what people advocate for, what politicians believe, what leaders believe, by what the people that listen to them do. And if you have a mass group of people that are constantly engaging in violence and chaos and destruction, then you can tell that the people they're listening to, that those are the things that they want. If they wanted love and compassion and humanity, we would see love and compassion and humanity from the people that listen to them. So yeah, and there's several more of these, of course. This one was from just a couple of months ago, talking about purchasing firearms yourself for the purpose of taking out ICE agents.
You can just kill ICE agents. You know that? You can just kill them. You don't have to hold your phone in their face and ask people when their birthday is and ask people what their name is and then try to find wherever they end up in Los Angeles. You can kill them. This isn't about social media clout anymore. This isn't about video. This isn't about the phone. This is about get a gun and start killing ICE agents.
This is a total loss of humanity. They don't see ICE agents as human beings because in our country, if you take the life of another human being, that's murder. That's against the law. You can't just take the life of anybody just because you feel like it, just because you don't like what they are doing. But these people seem to think that that's okay. And that's a total loss of your soul. And when you lose your soul, then you have no problem using your vehicle to run somebody over. And in that moment, that ICE agent knows this. They have been hearing these messages all year, for over a year now. People encouraging each other to take their lives by any means necessary. If they get a firearm, great, that can be their weapon. If they just have to use their car, that can be their weapon. And we've seen the number of incidents of ICE agents being rammed with vehicles intentionally go up. So vehicles have become the primary weapon against them. So in that moment, that ICE agent, knowing that all of this is happening, knowing that these are the message that these people, the person that he is facing, has been hearing and what they've been encouraged to do, he's like, this person probably wants to take my life. And all of these liberals are out here going, I don't understand why he would feel threatened. I don't understand why he would think that Renee Good would want to harm him. And the depravity knows no bounds. This woman was from a couple months ago, talking about not just going after ICE agents, but finding out where they live and going after their family and their children. Even if you have to go to their home or their school, go after their kids as well.
Hi, ICE agents have children too. Most of them have children too. And it's not as hard as you think to figure out who they are, where they go to school, their names. It's not hard at all.
Pure evil. And these guys that are just trying to enforce the immigration laws of our country, which Democrats have forgotten completely exist and forgot that they actually used to advocate for that as well, and have been brainwashed into believing that ICE are operating on a different set of laws than they've always operated, which is not true, but they're too stupid to understand that. They have no soul, and these ICE agents understand who it is that they are dealing with. They're willing to go after them, go after their kids, go after their families, find them in any place that they are, whether it be at their workplace, at their family's home, whether it be at a family gathering, whether it be at their kid's school. There are no boundaries. So there's really no way, if you have two functioning brain cells, why you would not look at this officer standing in front of a vehicle that is faced directly toward him, and he hears the engine revving, and the person behind the wheel is stepping on the gas pedal, and he can't see what's going on with the tires or which way they're facing. You can understand in that moment that he's thinking, this person wants to kill me. And it's wild that the number of incidents of ICE agents being attacked is so high right now that the same agent can be involved in something. Like, statistically, it's wild that this would even be possible, but the same ICE agent would be involved in something twice. So this ICE agent that was involved in the incident with Renee Good was attacked and dragged by a vehicle in June, where he had to get 30 stitches in his leg. This is that story.
Agents were executing a warrant for 39-year-old Roberto Carlos Munoz. They say Munoz entered the country unlawfully, and he also pled guilty to fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct back in 2023 for abusing a minor. Tuesday morning,
let's just pause for 1 second here.
Agents pulled him sexual conduct.
This guy was caught for SAing a minor. These are who the Democrats are protecting. These are who these liberal activists are protecting. These are who people like Renee Good are preventing ICE agents from arresting, who they are trying to keep in their neighborhoods. Let that sink in.
Back in 2023 for abusing a minor. Tuesday morning, agents pulled him over. Court documents say he repeatedly refused to comply before a federal agent took out his spring-loaded window punch with his right hand and broke the driver's side rear window. These images show the officer's hand in the vehicle. In this video, you can see the driver take off with the agent hanging from the car, dragging him 300 feet through front yards. These graphic images show the aftermath. A bloody agent who needed 33 stitches for his significant cuts. And now a political battle with a top Homeland Security official criticizing Governor Tim Walz, posting on X, instead of comparing ICE law enforcement to the Gestapo, Walz should be thanking our brave law enforcement.
Unbelievable. It's wild that this guy even returned to his job, that they keep going out there knowing that there are people encouraging this, including people like Tampon Tim. We should be thanking these people and pray for this man's family because they have doxed him. They have put his address out there. See, they're concerned about Renee Good losing her life, which was truly unfortunate. It did not need to happen. And if anybody is celebrating this, shame on you. But if it had been him, it would have been a celebration. Yet this guy is still getting out there, trying to enforce our immigration laws, trying to get people who are stealing our tax dollars out of the country, trying to get people out of the country who are assaulting minors, while Democrats are defending them. But I would love to hear what you guys think about all of this. Please drop it in the comments below. Again, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. As you guys know, we always end with Charlie Kirk. Keep it real, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
So let's talk about the 200 people deported without due process to El Salvador. I don't know if you saw this morning, but a United States citizen was actually deported.
It was not a U.S. citizen. That's not correct.
Liar.
It's not a U.S. citizen. It
What?
was actually...
Come on.
No, it was someone that was living here.
So you're just going to lie?
Well, first of all, it's not a U.S. citizen. He was living here for a while. He was part of MS-13. Answer yes or no. Okay. Should members of a terrorist organization be able to stay in the United States after they've murdered, raped, and gone after American citizens?
Obviously no.
So we have deported those people back to their country.
The Fifth
That's what
Amendment
they've done.
calls for due
The Fifth
process.
Amendment does not apply to foreign
That's
citizens
bullshit.
that are here
It says
illegally.
all persons.
No. It's only to U.S. citizens.
That's a lie.
Okay.
He's a liar.
So, okay.
He can't debate. He just
Okay.
lies.
Let me ask you a question. Should we be able to deport terrorists that are here in the United States?
With due process.
And we gave them due process.
What was the due process?
They were part of MS-13. It was very clear.
No,
and now they're in El Salvadorian jail.
That literally isn't true.
Most
Also, why
importantly,
wouldn't they just get deported? Why would they get sent to a jail?
Well, deported to a jail. By the way, many of these people,
not in their country. They're not from El Salvador.
Many of these people were already in prisons for crimes that they committed against the United States of America. So do we have a right to decide who is in the interior of the United States?
Yeah.
Okay, so then what's your big disagreement?
It's called due process.
Again, the due process,
Hold on.
if every single one of them got their own trial and their own date.
They did not get a trial.
If they got that, it would take us 10 years to deport like 200 people. We have a constitutional right to be under the Alien Invaders Act of 1798 to be able to
We're
repel.
not at war.
Well, hold on. We are at war. We've been invaded by 10 million
Congress
people over the last 4 years.
Has to declare an
Actually, that's not correct. Congress never declared war against Iraq. We never declared war against Afghanistan. We actually never had an official declaration of war against Vietnam.
Well, everybody
the President
knows
of the United
America
States
commits war crimes every day.
Okay, that's a separate issue.
And
but
supports
let's
Israel
stay
genocide.
focused. Who is the commander-in-chief?
Donald Trump.
Yes. So praise God. So if the commander-in-chief labels an invasion, it is an invasion. So when Venezuela opens up their prisons and sends in and to the interior of the United States, we have the right. Give you proof. The Venezuelan government has been found with a bipartisan congressional study that they have been sending the worst of their citizens to our country to increase crime, to kill people like Lake and Riley, to come into our communities. We have the opportunity and the ability, based on the laws of the land, to say that this is an invasion from a foreign country and we are repelling it. And by the way, how is it not an invasion when 10 million people come into your country uninvited?